Hi! In today's story, a man finds an ATM cash module on a street, and when he opens it, he was shocked. So let's read the story together and find out what was inside. Leon Price found the ATM cash module where dead machines go to disappear. Late spring in St. Louis, behind a strip mall, in a contractor dump pile that smelled like wet drywall and burnt wiring. He was 69, retired, hauling scrap because scrap kept the lights on. And sitting half wrapped in torn foam was a gray metal box on a rolling frame, clean, intact, too careful to be trash. The latch wasn't broken, it was just not locked. Leon tugged it open and saw 4 cash cassettes, stacked neat, with colored text like a system, not a mess. His mouth went dry. That gear didn't end up in a dump pile unless someone skipped steps or someone wanted it off the books. Then he saw the tag on the top cassette, handwritten in thick marker, hold for pickup, not discard, not empty, pickup. He reached for the envelope, tapped for the inner wall, and his stomach dropped so hard it felt like the ground moved. A sticky note slapped across the front had a name written on it, Martha Price. His wife, the woman he buried 2 years ago, the woman who used to come home from her non-profit job with her jaw tied and her eyes tired, whispering about missing deposits like the words were poison. Near the end, she stopped whispering. She started flinching at unknown numbers. She started taking the long way home. Then she got sick fast, like her body quit fighting at the same time her voice did. Leon opened the envelope right there because the air felt too thin to wait. Deposit slips, amounts, names. Some names stared hard enough to read the paper. At the bottom, in Martha's handwriting, one like hint, like a punch, they move money through ATM removals. If I'm gone, start here. Leon's hands shook so bad, he almost dropped it. This wasn't a lucky find, this was a buried confession that had been sitting in the trash waiting for someone brave or stupid enough to touch it. A sound snapped him out of it, metal scraping metal. Not wind, not a cart, something dragging along the alley wall behind him, slow and deliberate, like a tool being carried wrong on purpose. Leon froze, then heard it again, closer, and then sharp and clean in the quiet lot, a sound he knew, just made ready. Leon didn't look around fast. Fast gets you hurt. He shut the latch, kept his face blank, and rolled the module behind his truck like it was just a scrap he planned to weigh. A shadow moved near the papered-over storefront marked renovation. 2 men stepped out like they owned the alley. Clean jeans, no logos, calm eyes, no lost, not curious. Their gaze went straight to the empty spot in the dump pile where the module had been. One of them lifted his phone and typed with 2 thumbs. The other smiled at Leon like they were old friends and said, easy, friendly, wrong. Hey man, you see a gray box back there? Contractor left it. We're here to grab it. Leon felt his heartbeat in his teeth. He didn't answer the question, he asked his own. What's her name? He said, holding the envelope low, hidden against his leg. If it's yours, say her name. The smile on the man's face didn't break, it just went flat like somebody turned off a light. And Leon understood in one cold second that Martha didn't die simply because she got sick. She died while carrying a secret that these men were still trying to bury. Leon didn't argue with them in the alley. Arguing is for people who think the world plays fair. He kept his hands moving like nothing mattered, tossed a bent bracket into his truck bed, and said, nah, haven't seen it, like he couldn't care less. The men held their smiles too long. One of them stepped closer and Leon caught the smell of aftershave and gun oil mixed together, clean and wrong. The other one glanced at Leon's scrap trailer, then at Leon's hands, like he was measuring whether Leon was the kind of old man who would fall fast. Leon stayed boring. Boring is how you survive. He drove away slow, no tire squeal, no panic until the first turn hit the alley. Then he punched it, heard hammering, and headed for the storage locker he'd kept since Martha died. The locker was his shame box, full of her things he couldn't sort. Now it was his only hiding place. He rolled the gray module inside, shut the door, and locked it with hands that felt numb. The second the padlock clicked, his phone buzzed again. Blocked number, no message, just the buzz, like someone tapping his skull. Leon opened Martha's envelope under the flickering bulb, and the words got uglier the longer he looked. The stared names weren't random. He recognized 2 from the nonprofit, volunteers, church ladies, people who lived on fixed incomes. Next to one name was a note in Martha's handwriting. She asked questions, they scared her. Next to another, he lost the deposit, lie. And then a line that made Leon's throat close. If anything happens, it won't be the sickness. Leon felt heat rush up his neck. He remembered Martha's Martha's last months, how she stopped taking calls, how she jumped at headlights, how she whispered, "They want me quiet," then forced a smile for him like she was protecting him from the truth. He had blamed fear or illness. Now he realized illness might have been the cover they needed. A sound hit the locker door, soft at first, like a finger tap. Then metal scraped along the ledge, slow, deliberate, like someone testing the weakness. Leon froze. The padlock rattled once. Then came a sharper sound that turned his blood cold, the quick, hard click of a handgun slide, close enough that Leon felt in his teeth. A calm voice followed, right through the thin door, like the man was ordering coffee. "Leon, don't make this hard. We are doing you a favor." Leon didn't answer. He killed the light and held his breath. The scrapping stopped, silence stretched. Then a new sound, a thin drill whine that rose for half a second and died, like a threat, not a plan. Leon's hands closed around the envelope, so tight that paper bent. He pictured Martha at her desk, writing the warning line, knowing nobody would believe her until it was too late, and something in him snapped clean. He pulled his phone out, not to call police, not to beg. He dialed Ray Dempsey, an old buddy from the plant who'd retired into community papers and always said, "The big crooks fear daylight, not handcuffs." Ray answered with a sleepy grunt. Leon didn't explain everything. He didn't have time. He said one sentence that made Ray sit up. "Martha's name is on stolen ATM cash, and I've got a ledger with the victims." Ray went quiet for one beat, then said, "Don't hang up. Read me one stared name." Leon read it. Ray swore softly, the kind of swear that means he knew the name. "Okay," Ray said. "Listen to me. If they are at your locker, they are desperate. Desperate people make mistakes. Keep them talking if they come back. And don't you dare die with the envelope in your hand." Outside, footsteps shifted. Someone tried the lock again, harder. Leon swallowed the panic and did the one thing he hadn't done in 2 years. He spoke Martha's name out loud like a promise. Then he yelled through the door, steady as steel, "You want it back? Say her name." On the other side, silence felt so heavy it felt like confession. And when the men finally walked away, Leon knew they weren't leaving because they were done. They were leaving because they just realized the secret wasn't buried anymore, it was awake. The next morning, Leon woke up to a sound that wasn't a drill or a gun. It was his phone screaming, Ray Dempsey on speaker, voice sharp like a siren. "Turn on the TV," Ray said. "Right now." Leon's stomach dropped as if the locker door had opened by itself. He flipped the channel and there it was. A headline crawling across the bottom of the screen about missing ATM cash linked to a contractor removals, and above it, a blurry photo of the exact street mall service lane. The story was out, not the whole thing, not yet, but enough to poison the quiet. Leon didn't feel relief, he felt the air change, because once a secret becomes public, the people living off it don't come asking politely anymore. They either vanish or they bite. Leon drove to the locker and found fresh damage on the ledge, a deep scrape, like a tool had tried and failed in the night. Inside, everything was still there, but the message was clear. They'd come back. Leon's hands didn't shake this time. He grabbed the envelope and the notebook and drove to the one place Martha used to whisper about when she thought nobody listened, the nonprofit office. The receptionist froze when Leon said Martha's name. A back door opened, an old board member stepped out. Gray hair, careful smile, then went pale when Leon dropped the notebook on the counter. Leon didn't accuse, he didn't yell. He opened the page with the stared name and slid it forward. The woman's smile cracked like dry paint. "Where did you get this?" she whispered. Leon leaned in and said, "From the trash. Same place you threw her warnings." The room went dead quiet, and Leon watched guilt move across faces like a shadow. He finally understood what dirty really meant. It wasn't just thieves in the alley. It was good-looking people in clean offices who looked away because looking was inconvenient. That afternoon, the house of cards started falling in public. Ray's reporter didn't run a cute story. He ran names, he ran patterns, he ran dates that matched Martha's last months. And once those names hit the air, the two men in jeans didn't come back to threaten Leon. They did something louder. They ran. One abandoned his truck behind a motel. Another skipped a court date on an unrelated charge and vanished. A contractor office closed for renovations overnight, and the owner's voicemail changed to a dead tone. Leon watched it all like a man staring at the storm he'd finally named. Then the call came, the kind Leon never expected. A woman from the bank laws department, voice tied, asked Leon one question. Did Martha ever report this? Leon almost laughed. Reported to who? The same system that swallowed her? He answered, "She tried," and for the first time the voice on the other end softened. "Then she deserves credit," the woman said, "and so do you." The money in those cassettes didn't become Leon's lottery, it became evidence that returned to the people it was taken from. And that's what made the ending hit harder. The retirees who'd lost small chunks of their pensions got checks that came with apology letters, families got their charity funds restored, the nonprofit reopened accounts that had been quietly adjusted, and Leon, because he dragged the proof out of the dump pile and refused to let it disappear, received a legal reward and a civil settlement share that wasn't flashy but was real enough to change the shape of his life. He fixed the roof Martha used to worry about, he paid off the hospital balance that had haunted his mailbox since her last year, he bought a used truck so he didn't have to haul scrap like a man begging for pennies. But the biggest change wasn't the bills, it was the weight that left his chest when he stood at Martha's grave and finally said the words he'd been carrying like shame. "You weren't paranoid, you were right, and I finished it." Leon didn't get his wife back, he didn't get a clean world. What he got was something rarer. The truth dragged into daylight, the right people paid back, and his own life no longer ruled by fear. And every spring after that, when he drove past the strip mall, he didn't look at the dumpsters for money, he looked at them like a reminder, sometimes the last thing you expect to find in the trash is not cash. It's a reason to fight. So this is the story, very heartbreaking, very mysterious in some ways, and I hope you guys like it. Please share your ideas, your impressions, your thoughts, and please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.